Howdy, friends. This is the Magic City Motormouth, Fast Eddie Layne, with your invitation to join yours truly, along with Mark MaBo Bowman and the Oracle of Ominous, the Wicked Nemesis, every Sunday night, 6:30 p.m. Eastern, 3:30 p.m. Pacific, for Beyond Ringside Live. Wrestling, mixed martial arts, sports talk, and a whole lot more. Keep your eyes open on BeyondRingside.com for all of upcoming show information, and of course, catch us on social media as well. Until then, we'll see you this Sunday, 6:30 Eastern, for Beyond Ringside Live on the Beyond Ringside Radio Network.
Welcome to the original rock and wrestling radio show. Welcome to Beyond Ringside, your source for wrestling, MMA, and boxing in the Southeast. To contact the Ringside Roundtable of Beyond Ringside, email them at beyondringside@gmail.com. And now, your host for Beyond Ringside, the man, no myth, all legend, Fast Eddie Layne.
I want to say greetings, good evening, how you doing? 29 minutes before the top of the hour, welcome to Beyond Ringside Live, Sunday night, 2014, almost gone. 28th day of December. Hope everybody's had a great holiday season, no matter how you choose to celebrate, even if it's by sleeping late. Hope you had a good one. Like to welcome in tag team partners, the Oracle of Ominous, the Wicked Nemesis.
Do it, Doug.
Like to welcome in tag team partner, Mark MaBo Bowman.
Tell him, Steve, Dave.
Somewhere we're going to end up getting the comic book men reference in there before this day is over with. I'm pretty damn sure of that. Hoping everybody's had a great weekend. But real quick, to everybody listening through BeyondRingside.com, through Ustream, through TuneIn, Shoutcast, Winamp, all of the different methodologies which are available, we thank you very much. Greatly appreciated. A couple of quick program notes going to throw out there real quick. WrestleRage Radio with Mark, Rage, and Stan have opted into taking the night off. They'll be back on January the 4th, I do believe is going to be the date. As far as, and Wick, you're taking New Year's Eve off, right?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, I'll be here, but Eddie's going to be busy. Go ahead and say what it is.
Okay. And Cosz, to be determined show taking this Wednesday night off. They'll be back ready and raring to go in more ways than one. And, you know, every once in a while, the means does justify the... Oh, wait, strike that, reverse it. And, of course, on Thursdays, Cause and Effect, Thursday Night Radio Throwdown will be taking this New Year's Day off, and they'll be back ready to go on the first full Thursday in 2015. The Midnight Black Mass with Reverend Dan Wilson slated to kick off in just a little while, and that'll be part 2 of his special long-form interview with Bill Behrens talking about the Wild Side Chronicles. And here's the way this is going to run. As soon as I get everything in place, part 2 of the interview with Bill Behrens is going to be running premiere debut on the network, and then as soon as that wraps up, I'll run parts 1 and 2 back to back. So you'll have a chance to catch the long form version. It's a marathon, and even Dan and I both, and we've interviewed Bill before over here, and I don't know if the word long form really does apply. I almost have to ask if the word marathon applies. Wick?
It was a telethon, I think. I think we were trying to raise money for Jerry's kids.
MaBo?
Look, if Behrens is going to be in as rare form as he was when he was with us, or even his normal form, I don't even know what his normal form is. But
don't say it, Wick.
Well, yeah, you know. But I'm just saying, you know, check the battery on your iPod, your iPhone, your iPad. You know, make sure that you paid up your power bill, because you're not going anywhere for a while. Grab a couple Snickers when Bill Behrens does an interview.
There you go.
He's an awesome interview. But
he really is.
Oh yeah, great. He's a great interview.
Bill goes. Bill's like the marathon guy that craps his pants 8 miles into the marathon.
Got 18 miles to go and is still going to go.
You don't run 100 miles, but you still got one to go with the LNACHMOB and your discretion shoe PT. I'm sorry.
Not a problem.
That's from No Vaseline by Ice Cube.
And real quick, want to go ahead and slide this one out there to everybody who made it out to Pell City, Alabama.
Whoa, this is a PG show. You can't be sliding anything out there.
What? To everybody who made it out to Pell City, Alabama last night for the Global Championship Wrestling live event, thank you for making it out. We hope everybody had a great time. I know I did. Cameras rolling. Everything was chaos. From about 4:20 when I first walked in the door till about 11:30 when I finally left out of the door. That's why the second the show was over with, my happy ass jumped down off the stage, went outside, took a deep breath, smoked a cigarette, and came back in to do teardown. I needed air, plain and simple. But, however, short version, and this is for everybody who made it out to the show last night, who was listening for the first time or the 100th time. Thank you for tuning in. 3 title changes last night at Seasons Beatings. Thought for a minute, and Cosz was the one who originally called the factor of the tag team titles were in jeopardy and could have ended up changing hands last night, right, Wick?
Are you really going to start the show off with this? You want me to go off on my tangent now?
Remember, it's PG.
Well, I know. Let's see, how much of the curtain should I peel back? Let's go beyond the velvet ropes and into the curtain. We're going to go through the steel curtain. I, for one, was not happy with how things turned out. Yeah, we got the win, but once again, Pandora stuck her ugly, raggedy ass into our business. At least Angie says that she had great hair last night, but I said this before, Bullet Bob is the stiffest person I've ever worked with. Pandora's right behind him. She hit me so hard with that elbow that originally, now I know we're peeling back the curtain a little bit, I was going to throw the belt. No. I tossed the belt because that's how hard she hit me. It was like, she lost it, and she's looked at it and dropped the GD bomb on her. I'm going to get her. I'm going to get her ugly ass. I'm going to beat the crap out of her, I'm telling you right now. Before she retires, which she's been talking about retiring for the last 3 years, I'm going to beat the crap out of her.
And, of course, that's the easy way of, or actually the roundabout way of saying last night due to it was chaos. Now, wait a minute. I'm going to go ahead and throw this one out there because you were the one who brought the belt down to ringside, Wick. Fairness.
I was looking for the belt. I was looking for the ring bell, but I just went ahead and grabbed the belts.
There were 2 of them there for some damn reason.
What, 2 ring bells?
Yeah, there were 2 ring bells there last night.
I think it was for that ding, like, oh, intermission's over, ding, 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 ding.
Yeah, really.
Camera guys, get your ass back to your stations.
Everybody else, get back up on the damn stage. Come on, it's time to go.
They smoked like 7 cigarettes within 3 minutes.
Yeah.
I had to go pee during intermission, and then I heard you ring the bell, and I was like,
oh, crap.
Oh, my God. I said, not long at all.
Yeah, it was supposed to be a legit 10, and I think it actually went 12. And I was waiting on my tag team compadres to get back up on the damn stage so we could pick up the broadcast. Camera crew was setting ready to go. So, hey, what the hell? It happens that way sometimes, though. It's like everybody hears that one bell, and it's like, okay, we got a minute. We got to start wrapping it up. We got a minute. And all of a sudden, it's like, oh, crap, wait, hold on. So, yeah, normally that is the warning bell. Now, MaBo, if I could, you were actually in the stands last night, taking in the whole circle.
The hell I was. I don't know who started that vicious rumor.
We have photo evidence that you were there.
The hell I was. You ain't got no proof. I am much like a Bigfoot. I am not. Seriously, you cannot do it. There is no photograph of me that I have never wanted to. Unless I want it taken, you will never see me in a photograph. You will not, at least not see my face. I'm much like a Bigfoot. You will see maybe a part of me or a blur or a shadow. Don't believe me? Go look it up.
Okay.
So I was not there.
Okay.
I don't know who started that vicious rumor.
Okay.
I had no idea that MaBo was supposedly there. I mean, I did not hear "Tell Him Steve Dave." I did not hear "Dribble Jesus Loves You." I did not hear it. People know when I'm focusing. The only person outside of the ring that draws my attention is this gorgeous redhead over here, who almost got in a fight last night with 3 fat women. Imagine that.
Wait, what? Wait, whoa! What happened?
Well, apparently they didn't like her cheering for us. And you know how fans are. They know that somebody's with you, so they want to throw ice, they want to throw popcorn, they want to talk a bunch of smack. Yes, that's how it is. It's always like that.
You know what else apparently those women don't enjoy? Seeing their feet. Just saying. Especially if it was, and this is just what I've seen from the videos. Especially if it was that rotund one dressed in gray, it looked like a freaking trunkless elephant.
If you weren't there last night, how do you know how she was dressed?
Did I not just say what I've seen in the video?
Yeah,
Did I not just say that?
There's no video been released yet.
That you know of. I have my sources. You forget who I am, sunshine.
He's the Jimmy Olsen. You better watch out. He's everywhere and nowhere at the same time.
Exactly. I'll hit my watch and send out some Z's, and Superman will show up.
Either that or Ho-Ho Hogan.
So, everybody, welcome to the Wick and MaBo show. Eddie will no longer be part of this.
Good. That means I can shut down the transmitter and take my happy ass back to bed. Bye.
Back to bed? What do you mean back to bed? So it's back to basics.
That's Tuesday night. Back to bed is about 5 minutes away right now.
You should not be asleep right now, Eddie. You should be reveling in 457 paid people in attendance last night.
Yeah, I'm reveling in the fact that Carolina's kicking Atlanta's ass 34-3. Damn it. I don't think the Falcons are going to come back from that one.
Why would you revel in something that you don't like?
I was
That
running.
just makes
I
no sense.
was running with the word.
Well, use it properly, sir.
Can we just say I saw some footage of Mark James in a tag match against the Aftermath, the Brutes, and I told Mark James that he looks like Bluto from Popeye the movie. Robin Williams. So, holy crap, Mark James has gotten so big, and I guess it helps that he works at a gym.
Yeah.
But dear God, him and his partner, Jimmy Parker, I believe is his name. You look at those guys, and you're like, "Yep, you're wrestlers." And anybody that books them should definitely book them ASAP before they get snatched up and end up on Destination America, or in MaBo's case, Destination Truth. Is Bigfoot out there?
Well, I have not been photographed unless I want to be.
And by the same token, I've got to sit back and say this, coming off of watching the ROH broadcast from this past week. Tag team like the Brutes would go beautifully up in Ring of Honor right now because they have once again shown the fact that they do know how to focus on tag team wrestling.
Yes, they do. And I asked him if the Aftermath owed him money because he beat the crap out of those two guys. Holy crap! If you and it's a throwback. I mean, there's certain tag teams out there that their names definitely compliment them. It's not like I'm going to use the PG term, the crappy Beatles. So it's not just a clever nickname. Wayne's World. They are definitely the Brutes. And Mark James, I know he had taken some time away to recollect and reconnect with his life. It was well justified, and maybe we all need to take some time off because Jesus Christ, he beat the crap out of those two guys.
You know, and there are times when we push ourselves way too much, way too hard, way too fast, and we forget exactly what caused us and what helped us fall in love with our singular passion at any particular point in time. I mean, you know, you got football players who are driven to the point where they are no longer fans of the sport itself. Same for baseball, same for football. And definitely the same can be said for wrestling, mixed martial arts, boxing, and just absolutely all the way across the board. You need every once in a while. I think that's one of the reasons why most major sports do have an off season. And unfortunately in pro wrestling, especially for those who want to make a full-scale career out of it, I mean, think about it. WWE, you don't get a genuine extended off season because they're going anywhere between 275, 300, and 325 shows per year. And if you're booked on every one of those shows, the only time that you actually get time off is if you're genuinely hurt. Or take your ball and go home. And logical. But from there, you know, every once in a while, yeah, people do need a vacation. People do need to get away from it. And I think that's one of the reasons why I almost enjoyed August, September, and October. Because instead of having the pressure of everything else going on, it seems weird. And this is just me talking on this one. When Global, which is my home promotion, took that extended break for a couple of months, and I was so used to being 90 to nothing as far as working website and PR and social media and da-da-da-da-da, I'm sitting back going, crap. Okay. And I had to force myself, and actually we all three know that's crap, because I didn't force myself to walk away from it. I turned around and started finding other stuff to do. I hate I absolutely detest not having something going on, not having something to do. That's why it turned into hashtag road trips. Hashtag road trips.
Rewind and let me reverse it, just like Judas Priest first did.
Either that or use the line from Missy Elliott.
Well, January 3rd, UIW is going to be back in Temple, Georgia. You guys might want to think about making that trip because there will be a number one contenders tournament for the U.S. Heavyweight Championship that right now Josh Storm has. And I know Josh Storm has talked about 2015 being his last year, and January may be his last year and his last month because Steven Styles is going to be a part of that tournament. And first of all, we want to give our condolences to Steven Styles' car, which he wrecked last night on the way home.
Oh, no.
Yeah, he hydroplaned right outside of Tallapoosa, Georgia, and crashed his car last night. So, but he's saying he's going to be there for the 3rd, and that tournament has Fry Daddy involved in it, our 2014 Babyface of the Year for the Southeastern Independent Wrestling Awards, and Frankie Valentine's going to be a part of that. And then there's also going to be I Am Fatality, and then some other people that I don't know. I think Eli Daniels has been added to that as well.
Nice.
But I'm telling you guys right now, anybody that wrestles Steven Styles, and you can ask Joshua Hagan this, and you can ask Mad Dog Dan Sawyer this, they're going to get hurt. Josh about blew an ACL out last night.
Actually, let me jump in for a second because I'm going to lay this one out there. When Cosz and I were doing the commentary during the taping, even he came forth and said that is a totally different Steven Styles. And he saw the way Styles stepped up during the Battle Royal back at the Southern Legends Fan Fest. And last night, fluid motion between Clyde Braddock and Steven Styles, the Sevenfold Saints, dude. And y'all were clicking on all cylinders last night.
Well, I guess that's why Dan decided to use the belts and knock both of them out. I mean, that's desperation. When your babyface, one of your main babyfaces, hell, the owner of the company uses a belt on somebody, that should tell you something. This isn't the Steven Styles that was stuck wrestling against the Bull for, God, it seemed like 15 years. It is a different Steven Styles. And we want to give a shout out to Peach State Wrestling and Shane Knowles for giving us an opportunity to actually go together, because you guys know, had Shane not given us the opportunity and had people during that time off during GCW not giving us that opportunity to come up and actually form and make him money, I definitely don't think that Dan would have let us join at GCW. I hope he's listening.
Matter of fact, I believe it's going to be January the 17th. You're going to be back with Peach State, right?
Yes, we are. And God forbid, I don't know who won the tag team titles last night. I don't know if Southern Cross is still their champions, or if Dusty McWilliams and Kyle Matthews, which is the weirdest tag team combination I think I've ever seen in my entire damn life. Whoever holds the titles, they know those titles are coming straight back the 17th with us. So I hope you guys enjoy Paper Champions. We're gonna rip that paper and I'm going to wipe my ass with it.
Now, how can you call them Paper Champions? They did beat the Sevenfold Saints fair and square, kind of, sort of.
Eddie!
Kind of, sort of.
You know, for a fact, kind of, sort of. They cheated to win those titles. But, of course, you know, the fans don't want to hear that. Fans don't want to see that. We're not making excuses. They won. They out-heeled us, even though we were the heels. I just find it very funny that seems to be the only way to beat the Sevenfold Saints is to cheat. And, yes, we won last night, but we wanted those titles. It would have been another title for Clyde Braddock to carry around in his bag, and it would have been Steven Styles' chance to win tag team titles and another promotion. And I hope that they win the Georgia Tag Team Champion of the Year for Georgia wrestling history.
You know, looking at the overall scenario, and granted, Georgia and Tennessee, Florida, they are all three major hotbeds for pro wrestling action. And that is one of the things that I've noted about, you know, Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana's got some promotions. One that I found out is going to be starting up probably in late January. Mississippi has actually not that many promotions that I know of that are going on. I believe it's going to be 2 in the state. And And actually, I think Alabama may have somewhere in the neighborhood of 5 at any particular point in time.
No, they really only have 2. The other 3 are just half-ass promotions.
Well, there are some half-ass promotions out there, and therein lies the funny part, because this is something where I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to open up the table. One of the original prospects on the table for the Alabama Athletic Commission was to try to help weed out bad promotions and promoters. Do you think that in any capacity whatsoever, the commission has been anywhere near successful or had been anywhere near successful in that concept? MaBo?
I have no idea. I didn't even know the commission was still around.
That's,
to be honest with you.
yeah, that's the funny part. We don't know right now.
So I don't know if they're doing what they're doing. I mean, trust me, I've heard of some crap shows, so obviously they didn't do too good of a job.
Well,
Just because to me, it's not about weeding out bad promoters or bad, promotions or whatever. All it was apparently they just were looking for another way to make money
yeah.
by having people get their licenses or, pay fines if they didn't adhere or pay. And I'm just not saying it really happened. This is just my speculation that maybe bribes were paid to get around certain things. Say if you didn't have your barriers or whatever's needed, because you obviously you could buy your license from them while you were there or
Right.
while they were there, but you had your other stuff, like I'm sure there were other things that were needed, and I'm pretty sure if this go around, if you didn't have it, for a small fee, that they would look the other way. So to me, the only reason why that Alabama Athletic was that what it was? Alabama Athletic Commission?
Yeah, AAC.
Yeah, the only reason why they were built was just to, build more money out of people. So, I mean, it doesn't, trust me, you could be the drizzling poops in the ring, but as long as you had your X amount of dollars to get your license, they didn't care. They didn't care if you could potentially, injure or even kill your opponent because you're an improperly trained piece of garbage. Or even you're not even trained at all. You just walked in there with your freaking baggy, Glad flex pants or whatever. They don't care. They really don't care. They just wanted the money that they got from the licenses and fees and fines and yada yada yada. So
And percentage of the gate.
exactly. So that's all that was. To me, who cares? They didn't stop anybody from having a shutting down crap promoters or crap shows. It all still happened. That's all it was. It was just a cheap, it's just like just the government. They're going to bilk everything they can out of people for their money. Fat, rich, capitalist, fat cat, white men. That's all it is.
Wick, your thoughts?
Okay. I'm about to step on some toes and really I don't give a crap. The promotion, quote unquote, that Mike Jackson is helping run with that doofus Big Clyde, who was so terrible that when I was booking at ACW, I refused to book him. They should have shut that down a long time ago. I know not a single person besides Amos Moses had his license on that show. When the Athletic Commission comes back around, and they'll come around about February to GCW, I'm going to let them know exactly what I think about that. I'm not going to renew my license. They're not going to get any more of my money. They did nothing besides show up at Dan's shows 4 times this year and make sure everybody had their... We were the only ones that they come to. The only reason why is because we're the only ones making a name.
Kevin Brannon shows. I know for a fact that they showed up there too.
I wouldn't be so sure about that, Eddie.
Dude, I was there when Brandon Owens showed up for one.
Yeah, for one. You weren't there for the other ones like I was.
Okay. Well, I can only go off what I saw.
So what
yeah.
you're doing...
I mean, like you said, you were there for that one, though. You remember I did the, other 2, 3?
Right.
Not counting the one in Jasper, Tennessee, but, yeah. I can honestly recall. Now, maybe he stuck in, side door or whatever, got his money, took his payoff and ran, but I honestly don't recall seeing anybody or hearing anybody in the back speak of, the athletics commission's here. Do you have your license? Do you have your license? Not you. Heard nobody say anything about it. I could be wrong.
They were asking for a promoter's license. They were asking for all wrestlers and managers to have a license. They were asking for a percentage of the door, and then they were asking for something else that I can't remember.
Didn't the reps, they had to have a license too, right?
Yep. Yes. Anybody on there. But yet, we were told that nobody that had a license was allowed backstage via them and per the Athletic Commission backstage unless you were a licensed wrestler or entertainer, whatever. Okay, so they show up, and yet when the fat ass that showed up the last time was there to check everybody's stuff was there were a couple people that didn't have their license that just showed up that Dan didn't book. But yet they're there and they see this and nothing is ever said about it. That was a bunch of bull crap. As MaBo said, they did nothing to weed out any of the promotions that shouldn't have been there. So why are you taking X amount of hundreds of dollars from GCW plus all the money we paid them just so we can walk around with a card? If we go to North Carolina, we have to get licensed all over again.
Yep.
So really what that meant is that we're going to show up and if you haven't paid us, then you're going to have to pay us right then and there. It was a bunch of bull crap. I know that money that Dan had to pay out could have been spent on a lot of other talent. Hell, we could have got raises, but no. Dan has to pay all of this money. We have to pay all this money, but yet they don't do anything about it. That reminds me of the same stuff that Bugsy Siegel used to do back in the day with the Mafia. It's the exact same thing. They show up. We even have a licensed nurse that we had to have on hand because if Angie hadn't been there, we'd have had to rent a nurse out or gotten a doctor in case somebody got busted open.
Yep.
Angie saved us at least $100 every event just by being there because she's a licensed nurse. Or RN, I guess I should say. Registered nurse.
Yeah.
So to do that, that's more money they wanted. Luckily, we were saved by that, and anytime they showed up, all they wanted was more money. And those, oh my God, almost cussed. Those guys did nothing to clear out the sport. All they did was go work for Mike Jackson and Big Clyde, who, I'm telling you right now, there's no way in hell that guy is a promoter. There's no way in hell he paid that money. He can't even spell promoter. I've seen it. He can barely spell his name. And yet you got Mike Jackson over here, who is probably the biggest snake in the grass that's ever come out of Alabama. And yet you've got Jason Neal, a mark that I threw out of my show because we wouldn't book Octavia, because Octavia was the craps. But yet they're up there running their little thing. I've never heard anything about them. Never seen anything about them. Luke Gallows still come and work for them. Luke Gallows didn't have a license. He was doing all these crap shows in Alabama. So you tell me, do you think that Glow spinoff that they're doing, that ripoff they're doing, do you think any one of those girls has a license? Hell no. Do you think the Athletic Commission is going to be there? Hell no. Because they're a bunch of retards. Every single one of them can kiss my ass. And I'm going to tell that guy there when he shows up, because he's going to show up at GCW, maybe the 31st, and I'm going to tell him exactly where he can stick it. You know what? Dan can fire me. I don't care. I'm going to tell him exactly what I think about it. He shouldn't even be there. Those guys knew nothing about wrestling. They knew nothing about MMA. They knew nothing about boxing.
But wait. Actually, before we go to the top of the hour break, and this is where I'm going to go ahead and say wrong, because with all due respect, the original prospect in play was the Alabama Boxing Commission.
That doesn't mean they knew anything about it.
Yeah, actually, four out of the five people were actually boxing guys, including Casey Sears. Because the main thing that they were trying to do as the Boxing Commission was basically get Deontay Wilder booked. And that's not being... And tell you what, I'm going to leave it at that. But I'm going to come back and pick it up after the top of the hour break. Stay with us. We'll be back in 5. This is Beyond Ringside Live.
This is the Crowd Wrestler fan, the authority named Wills. Yes, sir, you believe me, you're locked in to Beyond Ringside.
When planning your next party or special event, insist on the best. Full Range Entertainment is a professional entertainment company providing a full range of services. From professional disc jockeys and MCs to catering and photography, when the details of your special day must be perfect, call us first. Wedding receptions, corporate parties, school functions, birthday celebrations, and more. We also have Birmingham's largest selection of karaoke tracks available. With over 40 years combined experience, Full Range Entertainment can provide you with the talent and professionalism you need and deserve to make your next event one you'll never forget. For more information on the full range of services we offer, call 533-HITS. That's 533-HITS. Or check us out on our website at fullrangeentertainment.com.
Howdy, friends. This is the Magic City Motor Mouth, Fast Eddie Layne.
And I'm the Cosz, Robert Cosper.
And this is your invitation to join us
and the Hitman, Big Daddy Cool, Ryan Adcock, right here for the Saturday Showcase.
At Saturday mornings, 11 a.m. Eastern, 10, 9, 8 a.m. Pacific time. See, we do math around this place. Be sure to catch us right here on BeyondRingside.com. You can also listen through Winamp for Android and BlackBerry, as well as the Shoutcast mobile app for Apple as well. Remember, that's Saturday mornings, 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central, right here on the Beyond Ringside Radio Network.
And let me tell you how you can find the Hitman, Big Daddy Cool, Ryan Adcock on social media. It's very easy. It's at www.kissmyass.
Whoa. Stop that right there. Folks, we'll see you Saturday on the Showcase. Bye for now.
This is the seven-figure deal Ace Rockwell. And as long as Wicked Nemesis isn't on the show, please listen. You're locked in to Beyond Ringside.
The To Be Determined show live Wednesday nights, 9 Central Standard Time. Join myself, the Oracle of Ominous, the Wicked Nemesis, the Grand Design, Clyde Braddock, and the Magic City Motor, Fast Eddie Layne, as we take you to the edge of uncensored. Yes, we go uncensored, so make sure you have your earmuffs. Ask your parents, for those of you that are a little young, maybe under 18, but make sure if you have any heart conditions or any mental defects, please listen, because they may take effect right here, live, every Wednesday night, 9 Central Standard Time. Beyond Ringside Radio Network, beyondringside.com.
This is Merciless Ray Mercer, Olympic gold medalist and board member of Find the Dream, and you're locked into Beyond Ringside.
Hey, this is Angel Orsini, former MMA fighter, professional wrestler. You can check me out at www.theangelorsini.com, and you are locked in on the Real Talk Radio. Beyond Ringside.
Hi, this is April Hunter from aprilhunter.com, and you're locked into Beyond Ringside.
This is Angel, half of the Double Trouble Morning Team on Distant Thunder Radio, and you are locked into Beyond Ringside.
Hey, half-heads, it's a 3-time NWA World Heavyweight Champion, Scrapline Adam Pierce, and just like me, you are locked in Beyond Ringside.
Set and ready to ride 3 minutes after the top of the hour. I know I said 5. We're back a little bit early, and every once in a while that does happen. 1 in 5. Beyond Ringside Live continues. Fast Eddie Layne live from Studio One. Live from... Did we ever come up with an official nickname for where you're hiding at, MaBo?
Well, right now I will soon be broadcasting from the Guinea Pig Gallery.
There you go. That works. GPG Central.
Yep.
Mark MaBo Bowman coming back on board and live from Bohemian Grove, the Oracle of Ominous, the Wicked Nemesis.
Oh, if we could let this stuff go that we talk about off air online, it would hurt a lot of feelings, and I could give 2 rats' asses or gerbil asses about that.
Don't forget, replays of Beyond Ringside products are definitely available. Podomatic, P-O-D-O-Matic, as well as iTunes, Stitcher, Spreaker, and iHeartRadio.
Check on iHeartRadio, because we are zooming up the charts on iHeartRadio.
Working on it.
Hey, does that mean we get to be at the iHeart concert or whatever they usually put on?
That would be awesome. MaBo, check into that.
Yes, and MaBo can introduce Taylor Swift and Selena Gomez.
No, we want to meet the other people in there.
I don't know about Tadolf Switler, but I'll definitely hook up with Selena Gomez.
See, that's why I said Selena Gomez first.
Well, and you know what? I'll run the risk of getting some VD. I'll hook up with Miley Cyrus.
And thank God I am not eating right now because I would have just barfed.
Hey, look, I like Arby's roast beef. What do you want me to say?
And she pooped in her pants a couple of months ago on stage.
That turns me on even more.
Whatever happened to good old-fashioned quality entertainment like the Genitorturers?
Or typo negative.
Thank God you said that. Bloody Kisses, October Rust, 2 great freaking albums.
Hold on. What's the name of that song that you introduced me to by them?
Was it who? Me?
Angie. Okay. Black what? Black Number One. That's an amazing song.
Yeah, that's off of
that singer had a cello, a huge cello that he used as a bass guitar.
Yes.
Enough said.
Yeah, I mean, Bloody Kisses is a phenomenal album, including the Seals and Croft remake of Summer Breeze Set Me on Fire. Christian Woman, hell of a song. Black Number One, incredible piece of music. I mean, and then you go to...
Your Angie over there. Yep. Everyone you said, she's like, yep. See, she's the one that introduced me to them. As everybody knows, I was strictly into hip-hop going into college. And then some things expanded my mind, one being Marilyn Manson and Rob Zombie. And then after that, it was falling down that rabbit hole of hard rock. But, Slipknot being my favorite band for anybody that's ever seen me wrestle.
Now, what's funny is you mentioned Rob Zombie, and if you go to Astro Creep 2000 and the song Blood Milk Sky, that sounds like something that Typo Negative would have done.
You hear that? Yep, sure does.
Thank you.
The Peanut Gallery, thank you, baby. I love you.
And Angie will appreciate this one also. And Wicked, you might as well. Mark, I don't know if you listen to Typo Negative or anything like that, but one of the things that I really appreciate the factor of Typo Negative, especially the first 2 albums, was the factor they would take what you go ahead and call a golden oldie, like I said, like Summer Breeze by Seals and Crofts, or on their second album, they took Cinnamon Girl by Neil Young, and absolutely, I love the way they redid that song.
Angie said, me too. She said it was great.
Yeah. Typo's got, and of course, the best song on October Rust is Love You to Death. Tremendous album. Great. We should have Reverend Dan on this conversation, too.
Reverend Dan. Well, their strings were a little off, but actually, just like Spiral, just like I do my impression of Spiral to his face, I'll do my impression of Reverend Dan to his face as well.
Well, see, actually, fun part is, it's like between the 2 shows that Reverend Dan does, whether it be the Midnight Black Mass or possibly even Get You Pulls, we could have some major conversations, whether it be about music, comic books, cartoons, everything up the middle and in between. So, speaking of in between, let me go ahead and take this one back on. As we were leaving the previous segment, I said that I was going to tackle this, and the original intent behind what is now known as the Commission, the AAC, was originally supposed to be the Alabama Boxing Commission. Well, and here's the thing about it. I know Deontay Wilder. I've interviewed him before. Tremendous young man. Golden Gloves, Pan Am Games winner, Olympian. Casey Sears, very intelligent, very knowledgeable about boxing. 4 out of the 5 original members of the Boxing Commission, their home is in boxing. But Alabama does not have enough going on in that realm to where we can keep Deontay booked. Not even with sparring partners. And they wanted to try to find a way to increase boxing visibility, traffic, and revenue in the state of Alabama, i.e. get Deontay booked more often. I'm not saying that in a derogatory method. Deontay is a tremendously talented fighter. Kid's got good hands and great boxer. But from that vantage point, the overlords in the grand and glorious city of Montgomery started sitting back going, well, there's not enough profit in this. If you're going to do this, then you're going to go ahead and encompass, mixed martial arts seems to be a viable form of income. So if you want to concentrate on boxing, you've got to take MMA under your wing, and you've got to find a way to make it feasible to where you can keep the committee going. They had gone through 2 executive directors and founding corporate sponsors. And I will say it like that for a very simple reason, because they would have financial backers for the commission. That way the state didn't have to pay anything. And I'm not saying anything that right now is not public record, and you can see it, and you can find it. All you got to do is look. It's not like you're trying to track down Anonymous or Lizard Squad or anything like that. This is easily findable. But from there, I just got on the NSA watch list, didn't I? But from there, with the advent of incorporating mixed martial arts under the umbrella and becoming the Alabama Athletic Commission, a number of promoters saw the money grab that was in place and left the state. You had promoters who stuck around and tried to stick it out, but then you had people like Jay Trail, Ray Eccles, who closed up shop. Nelson Berry closed up shop. Adam Gibbs closed up shop. Took it back to Tennessee and over to Georgia. David Elder, Matt Lavelle, and Jamie Sullivan of Strike Hard Promotions did everything they could to keep it going in this state, including running 6 shows in 8 weeks. My hat's off to them. And they brought in the Halfacre family. Christina and her husband. Tremendous individuals. But the commission was still pushing harder and harder for more. Well, they saw the fact that WWE was getting ready to come to Alabama. Ooh, we can incorporate pro wrestling and we can make big bucks in one night off the WWE. That's when Vince McMahon will look him straight in the eyes and go, we're not pro wrestling, we're sports entertainment. We don't fall under the athletic commission. We actually fall under the film and entertainment division. And there was a fight that took place. Well, Vince McMahon paid for the promoter's license. He said, okay, fine, I'll give you the promoter's license. But that's all you're getting out of me. So go from there. No, I do not. And same thing with TNA. They're like, we're sports entertainment. We're not pro wrestling. We run a weekly 2-hour television show that is based in entertainment off of a simulated athletic event. So we're not pro wrestling. So TNA got onto the WWE bandwagon in that regard. Well, here we go. At one point, there were 11 pro wrestling promotions in the state of Alabama. Now, technically, we are down to 5. And put it this way, I mentioned Kevin Brandon and IWA Deep South LXW because of the way that they were trying to put all the guidelines in. Well, we don't want death matches here. We don't want glass and 2x4s, and we don't want people taking unnecessary risks because we think it's going to be bad for business. Excuse me? These people are trained professionals, you nimrods. There are people, okay. There are some people who do death matches that don't need to do death matches. I will say that. And then you have people who understand the dynamic of the type of entertainment that they are putting forward to the viewing audience, and the viewing audience wants this. And these guys will go off the deep end? No, they won't go off the deep end. They will do what it takes within a realm of reasonable safety. They're not stupid. They're intelligent. Not everybody is. I'll grant that. MaBo, you've been to how many deathmatch shows? You've watched how many deathmatch shows?
More than enough.
You've seen the fact that there are people who don't need to be doing this, and you've seen other people who are very well trained in what they're doing, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's just, that's the thing when it comes to the deathmatch genre of pro wrestling. And people can argue whether it's pro wrestling or not. Movies have genres. Pro wrestling has genres. Lucha Libre, Puro Resu, Catch, all that stuff. So, that genre, there are some. But unfortunately, there are people who think, since they view deathmatch as the easiest form that they can get away with, that they can do it. And that's when you get these ones who definitely don't have a clue, who get in here, start doing it, and they get severely jacked up.
Right.
And they have nobody but to blame but themselves.
Well, you've got some people who don't know how to blame anybody other than themselves. I mean, because the fact that, let's look at it. We all know personalities in the world of pro wrestling. We all know people inside the ring, outside the ring, backstage, whatever, who, no matter what happens, it's not their fault. Anybody care to disagree with me on that one?
Oh, I thought you wanted to start naming names.
No, we're not going to name names.
Oh, okay. Because I'm ready to point names and name fingers.
Nope. Not what we do.
You want to think about that?
You can do that on Twitter.
Not what you do.
But by the same token, my commentary, I'm going to put a wrap on this particular topic with this statement right here. if the athletic commission would have followed through and did what they promised that they were going to do, I would not have had an issue with it from square one. But I am one of the ones who originally, and said this directly to members of the commission, said that it was a money grab. And that everybody sees that it's a money grab. And look, for me, and I think that MaBo and Wick will both agree, regardless of what happens, safety for those who enter a ring and cage is just as paramount and tantamount as it is for the safety of those who pay their hard-earned money to walk in that door and sit in the stands. I didn't think I'd hear an argument on that.
Actually, I would say it's even more, because people are paying to see these people. Those people are hurt. You know, as a promoter, there goes your income.
Well, therein lies the rub, because if the people who are inside the ring or the cage get hurt and can't perform, no show.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You know, their safety, I would say their safety is even more important than some schlub sitting outside, and that's just me.
No.
Because you know what? I guarantee you, those schlubs, the first time they get hit, oh, you know, they're not going to be like, oh, I'm going to sue. They're going to be like, hey, man, I'm part of the show. Look at me. I got hit in the face with a chair. Yee-haw!
Yeah.
Go punch my sister.
Go punch my sister. I thought you were going to say go kiss your sister. Holy crap.
No, they kiss their cousins. They punch their sisters.
Oh, okay. Didn't know that part.
Yeah.
I'm from Alabama.
You don't want to know what they do with the family dog.
I'm from Alabama. I missed that memo, okay? Of course, I don't have a sister, although I have a bunch of cousins. No comment. But, no, I mean, anything that I've laid out there in the last few minutes. Wick, MaBo, anything y'all want? I mean, is there anything you'd like to add or that you'd like to take umbrage with? Wick, you first.
Going back to death matches do serve a purpose. There's a handful of wrestlers out there that do death matches that are actually really good wrestlers. Plain and simple, the Athletic Commission did nothing of what they promised that they were going to do. And they should be shut down, and they should be taken out back and put in front of a firing squad. They should, or I guess get them for tax evasion, same thing they got Bugsy Siegel for.
MaBo?
Sure. I mean, it's just, that's all it is. It's just like, you know, Wicked said earlier, they're taking money from, you know, like the promoters, to where they could, you know, give raises to the regulars, or, you know, use to bring in, you know, more talent. So, yeah, I say, you know, F them.
Well, look, like I said, and it's frustrating. It really is. And that's not exactly the highest thing on my list of things that were great or not so great out of calendar year 2014. And this is where I'm going to change tempo just a little bit, because we're going at 18 after the top of the hour, 6:18 Central, 7:18 Eastern. You're listening to Beyond Ringside Live. Fast Eddie Layne, Mark MaBo Bowman, the Oracle of Ominous, the Wicked Nemesis on this Sunday night. Angie Travis hiding off in the background. Wave and say hi, Ange. We'll work on that concept. You know.
So she said hello. I just had it muted.
It's okay. It's okay.
The cuss.
I figured I was doing the Pearl Harbor thing.
Hello.
Glad to have you on board. I'm going to open it up full-scale discussion, and I know that there was a lot of things that happened in the year 2014, and I know that normally I would give advance notice as to what kind of topic range that I would be going for. But sometimes, right off the top of your head, you get the most honest and pure answers, because it's legitimately things that have stuck in your mind, whether it be January, April, September, or last night. And I'm going to go ahead and throw it on MaBo, your direction first. Don't all have to be good. You're not doing a best of. You're not doing a worst of. What really sticks out in your mind from calendar year 2014 in pro wrestling and sports?
Oh, come on. You really have to ask that. You know what I'm going to say.
Bring it.
It was actually two things. One, hold on, I'm trying not to squish the guinea pig. One, of course, obviously, the return of Chikara. Even when others doubted, I told you that they would be back. And two, with the advent, I mean, I'm not going to say necessarily of the WWE Network, but of NXT on the WWE Network, and allowing for, I would say, the ability to view a much better program than what WWE normally offers. That's just my opinion. So not necessarily the network itself, but definitely the chance to see the network, or to see NXT.
Okay. Wick.
Right off the top of my head, the joining of the Sevenfold Saints, plain and simple. Having Clyde Braddock and Steven Styles under my tutelage, and us being able to go out and make money for several different organizations right off the bat, that's my number one. My number two would have to be Batista as Drax. Because, dear God, I was scared to death.
Which, by the way, that was the first. I finally sat down and watched Guardians for the first time the other day.
And
I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yes. It was a really good movie.
I mean, I personally would have. I wish I would have liked to see the Nova Corps done a little bit more differently. But sorry, I've got a guinea pig nudging me on my foot, demanding food. I would have liked to have seen the Nova Corps done more close to the comic. But other than that, I thought it was a tremendous movie, and everybody nailed the parts that they were given.
Angie, would you like to say something about your best in sports entertainment, aka wrestling, in 2014? She said, "Not right now. Thank you."
We'll come back to you.
I'm afraid I'm coughing.
She said she's afraid she'll get to coughing. She's been sick, obviously.
It's okay. Like I said, be thinking, because we're going to come back to you in another week. Either that or Wednesday night on TBD.
Which we'll be here for. So.
Oh, crap, that's right. We're not going to be off. Shoot. Okay, well, I just screwed my own setup on that one. Meanwhile.
Well, no back to basics year-end edition?
I have not decided yet.
Well, there you go. There's perfect reason now. So Angie can come on and give her moments.
I'm going to say this. GCW brought in a lot of new faces this year, and I think that GCW submitted themselves as the king of Alabama. I guess that makes me Frank White, which I will take. And plain and simple, there was several things that happened at GCW. We could start from January all the way out till last night. But the Sevenfold Saints making their presence known in the Battle Royal was a huge thing. And guess what, guys? I got to wrestle 5 times this year. Think about that. I wrestled more than some people who call themselves wrestlers.
In my world and in my realm, there were a number of great things that really just stick in my head. And I brought this one out last week, the factor of the current ROH World Tag Team Champions, Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly, cementing themselves, especially if you saw this week's episode of Ring of Honor Television, as one of the best tag teams out there, period. The Tag Wars match that they had with ACH Matt Sydal, the Briscoes, and the Addiction in a 4-way elimination tag match. Well done. I appreciate and respect the factor of the strides that Ring of Honor has made this year. They have put out, in a 1-hour format, tremendous wrestling action, believable storylines, credible characters and personalities that people can wrap their head, their heart, and their imagination around. There have been some lulls. There have been a whole lot more highs than lows, though. Whether it be with the situation of scum falling off the face of the earth, Steve Corino moving behind the broadcast console, Nigel McGuinness, the move to Sinclair, or the continuation of the growth with Sinclair, and the... Any other time I can remember the word because I love to... Syndication. There's always something good about the word syndicate. To put the world in perspective, yeah, ROH has blown it out this year. I agree with MaBo. The network being a viable source for people to catch up and do NXT. Their 2 takeovers have been phenomenal. I mean, let's put the world in proper perspective. If Vince hasn't gotten a wake-up call yet, just go ahead and tuck the bed sheets around him because he's in a coma.
No, that would be Linda's gimmick.
There you go. The factor of being able to find more and more shows, as in televised products, on the web, including on television. I'm sad to see what happened with Impact Wrestling because everybody knows the way I feel ever since the installment of Kurt Angle as DOW. I mean, Director of Wrestling Operations, DWO. Get my acronyms screwed up every once in a while. FUQUEIT. Think about it. And then losing Spike and going to Destination America, which I don't get, sad but true. Hopefully I'll be able to watch it on their on-the-go service, which would be very nice. Ring of Honor matter of fact, they've got a television taping coming up on January the 3rd up in Nashville, Tennessee, and it sounds like it might just be a road trip. Seriously considering going. Would like to go. Want to go. Going to stop by Party City and pick up a case of streamers just to throw at people.
Actually, believe it or not, you don't really need that many. I've thrown streamers. You only need about, a good 8.
Yeah, I know, 1 per match, but still. I'd be the one who'd just stand up and be chucking the damn things. I'd compress about a handful and just launch them. You know me.
There's an art to throwing the streamers. I've learned this.
Yeah, and unfortunately Jimmy Rave in there, so I can't throw toilet paper.
Uh-oh. That is not Jimmy Rave approved.
But Jimmy Rave is still cool as hell. And Jimmy Rave is Beyond Ringside approved. That and $1.75 gets a cup of coffee at Waffle House.
Because we will shill for anything.
And please tip your staff accordingly. But in all sincerity, it's been a good year. There's been a lot of great memorable moments. And then I've got to go ahead and lay this one out there since we are right at the end of 2014. Another huge one just got posted, and that is the 5-time NWA World Heavyweight Champion, Scrap Iron Adam Pearce. You saw the picture. The belts are on the boots are on the hat rack. He has hung up the boots. There is a video out there on YouTube. There are people who like Adam Pearce. There are people who love Adam Pearce. There are people who can't stand Adam Pearce. That's the same thing with anybody in pro wrestling. This is nothing new, kids. It's not breaking news. Dun, 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 dun. I'm facing the other way. I didn't have the sound effect ready to go. Sorry, folks. Neither did MaBo. I will say this. For the times that Adam Pearce has been kind enough to come on Beyond Ringside, and this is a person who's been very generous with his time every time he's come on. And he's answered the hard questions just like he's answered the lightning round questions, just like he's answered the straight ahead questions. Pearce has always been cool as hell to interview. And, the time I got the opportunity I had to work with him was tremendous. Plain and simple. So as he moves on to the next chapter, which I do believe that he is going to be continuing to work with NXT down at Full Sail, I wish him the absolute best. And, when you get an opportunity, people like Sarah Del Rey, who's working with some of the women down there, as well as Adam, who's working with some of the guys, as well as working with the production side. Remember, he used to produce ROH TV back in the day. Critically acclaimed in a good way. So I would definitely wish him the very best as he moves on to this next phase in his life and in the world of pro wrestling. Going to go ahead and go to anything y'all want to add before we go to the break?
I'm watching an overweight guinea pig bury himself in hay.
On that note, we'll take the break. We'll be back in just a minute. Hang with us. This is Beyond Ringside Live.
I'm sorry, Wilbur, you're not overweight. You're just fluffy.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Temptation, Sean Tempers, and right now you are locked in with Beyond Ringside.
Sunday nights at 11 p.m. Eastern here on BeyondRingside.com. Join us for the Midnight Black Mass. Myself, the Reverend Dan Wilson, brings you the dark gospel of professional wrestling, uncensored, unedited, uncut, and not for the faint of heart. You can find out more about us at youtube.com/pottyhumor or subscribe at Potty Humor on iTunes and Stitcher today.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Bill Behrens, and you're watching, you're listening, you're experiencing Beyond Ringside, and you are a better person for it. Trust me.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is SmartRage from WrestleRage Radio, coming to you from the Beyond Ringside Radio Network. Join myself and my co-host, Super Stan Grubb, Sunday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern as we present WrestleRage Radio, where we rant and rave on everything in the world of pro wrestling. Sometimes we'll have a guest. Sometimes it'll be just me and Stan BSing about the sport that we love, pro wrestling. Check us out. Tune in Sunday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central, only on the Beyond Ringside Network.
This is Bob Allen, co-author of Gordon Soley's Something Left Behind and the Soley Chronicles, and you're locked into Beyond Ringside.
Howdy, friends. This is the Magic City Motormouth, Fast Eddie Layne, with your invitation to join yours truly, along with Mark MaBo Bowman and the Oracle of Ominous, the Wicked Nemesis, every Sunday night, 6:30 p.m. Eastern, 3:30 p.m. Pacific, for Beyond Ringside Live. Wrestling, mixed martial arts, sports talk, and a whole lot more. Keep your eyes open on BeyondRingside.com for all of upcoming show information, and of course, catch us on social media as well. Until then, we'll see you this Sunday, 6:30 Eastern, for Beyond Ringside Live on the Beyond Ringside Radio Network.
This is Bad Brad Armstrong, part of the famous Armstrong family of professional wrestling, and you're locked in to Beyond Ringside.
Hey everyone, this is the Cosz, Robert Cosper, host of Cause and Effects Thursday Night Radio Throwdown. This is your invitation to join me, along with the Effects Stuart Couch, Mad Dog Dan Sawyer, and all of the craziness that is C&E, right here every Thursday at 7 p.m. Central, 5 p.m. Pacific Time. It's wrestling radio with a twist, and some might just say with a twist of lime when the bar is open. Cause and Effect, right here on the Beyond Ringside Radio Network.
This is Awesome Austin Creed, the smartest man in this industry called pro wrestling, the valedictorian of this business. You are locked in to Beyond Ringside.
This is Dan the B7, the only Triple Crown champion in the UFC history, and you're listening to Beyond Ringside. You better pay attention, otherwise I know where you live.
24 before the top of the hour, and the home run round is underway. Welcome back into Beyond Ringside Live.
You okay, Eddie?
No.
You want to handle this part?
I'm gonna lift the restriction for one time, and the next 15 seconds, I want you to say what you just said that I said I wish we could say on air. You get a chance right now. Say it.
Beyond Ringside Live, where shit gets more awkward off the air.
Remember that phrase, kids. Fast Eddie Layne over here, Mark MaBo Bowman, coming up with all the awkward S words this evening. Wick, welcome back, buddy, over there. I'm taking a look at some of the
news.
Yes,
sir, we're here.
There he is.
And hopefully they didn't hear anything that was said while we were on the break.
No, I was trying to tell everybody, shut the hell up. We're live on the radio. It's like a damn madhouse here. Somebody at one of my son's mounds, and he's stomping through the house after playing Red Dead Redemption, asking who ate his candy bar, and I'm about to slap him in his face.
Well, now mounds, there's no need for that. Now, if it was an Almond Joy, let the kid run. I mean, you just don't, you don't mess with a man's Almond Joy. You just don't.
Nope.
Love Almond Joys.
Remember, Almond Joy's got nuts. Mounds don't.
Well, unless you actually just go and take, and put a frickin', what are those, almonds? Yeah, you just put an almond on top of a mound and you got a frickin' Almond Joy. You just got a dark chocolate Almond Joy.
Yeah, that's true, too.
Tonight's episode is being brought to you by Dr. Pepper's and Chocolate Swisher Sweet Cigarillos.
Yeah, it's also brought to you by Awkward Conversation.
Sorry,
Yeah.
I was situation off air trying to have a quick conversation. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, there was something I was going to bring up a second ago, and I just completely lost it.
What about the worst of 2014?
Go for it. Wick, take point.
Well, first of all, Damon Christopher having to retire because of a bad back was terrible. The total implosion of the Unlucky Charms. The fact that Mike Jackson's still above ground. And the Sevenfold Saints being screwed out of 2 different title matches.
MaBo?
The majority of Impact. Everything I've seen on Championship Wrestling from Hollywood. Anything not involving AJ Lee, Paige, Natty, the NXT women. Pretty much the cast of Total Divas, except for Natty getting in the ring. Yeah, that was just an abortion. I'm going to say, and some people would say, it was time or whatever, but I'm going to say the streak ending and that leading to Brock Lesnar having the belt. And, obviously if there's the 30-day rule or whatever they said, it's like you've said before, Eddie, the 30-day rule that they hit Daniel Bryan with, but Lesnar's gone how long without defending it?
Oh,
I mean,
God,
come
yeah.
on. It's called consistency, people.
Yeah, there is no such thing in consistency in WWE programming. That's the sad part about it.
And that's why NXT's kicking their ass.
Yeah.
Exactly, and then the main roster has enough nerve to sit there and bitch about it.
Exactly, and they have been. And that you just hit on exactly what I was about to say. The fact that the main roster, and then Vince telling guys to go out and grab the quote-unquote brass rings, but yet nobody cheats. None of your heels cheat on WWE. There's no eye gouging, no, hey, ref, look at that. There's nothing like that. He literally has these guys stuck in finger cuffs and yet wants them to go and do anything off-key because, of course, nobody wants to step on anybody's toes.
Well, I mean, to me, to kind of, touch upon the whole, he doesn't really have his, heels cheat or anything. I mean, that's the great thing, for the, for like the kids and stuff to be like, no, he cheated, ref, he cheated. It helps bring more to me. It helps bring more to the story overall. I mean, whether heel or face, when Eddie Guerrero, whenever he cheated, was it not the best thing in the world? Because it added a whole other dimension. So, to water down your heel, so to speak, it's just ridiculous. I mean, what happened to jumping somebody in the parking lot and, and breaking their hand or, taking somebody's family hostage or something, fireballs, eye pokes, whatever.
One of the last big heels that we saw in wrestling, we saw Edge do a great heel run, and then Chris Jericho when he did his Nick Bockwinkel No Country for Old Men combination.
Yeah, which by the way, ladies and gentlemen, if you're listening, not this past episode of Smodcast, but the one before. Not sure the number.
Yeah. Oh, yes. No, it's one before that. They had one come out December 24th. The 17th was the one where they talked about Foxcatcher. The week before.
Yeah, which I haven't updated. I haven't updated from the 24th yet.
Yes, that I have it uploaded to my phone. And I'm going to listen to it probably tonight, or I may do it on my 45-minute travel to work Monday through Friday. That's one way, 45 minutes. But yes, go ahead and say exactly what you're about to say because he actually talked about that.
Yeah, I've actually I've got like 15 minutes left in the podcast, but Chris Jericho was on Kevin Smith, writer, director, actor Kevin Smith, on his podcast. Probably one of the first podcasts. He had him on. It's called Smodcast. Chris sat in for Scott Mosier, Uber producer Scott Mosier, and talked about everything from pro wrestling to acting to hockey to his origin story, life choices, everything. So, I mean, for those of you who listen, sorry, the guinea pig made me laugh. To those of you who usually listen to Smodcast just for Scott and Kevin, for the actual Smod in Smodcast, I recommend that you listen to this one. Now, I'm not a big fan of Joe Rogan, so I skipped over the 2-part Rogan one. And usually, if Scott Mosier's not on the podcast, I don't listen. But I like Jericho, just like there's a Hollywood Babylon with Mick Foley. But that's another story. I highly recommend listening to this because you will hear things that's not even in the 3 books that he's got out. Chris Jericho, he has 3rd book that was just recently released. Listen to it. It's a great listen. So and you'll understand what Wicked was talking about with Jericho and his heel run, or his last great heel run, where he was doing the old country for no country for old men, old country like men, something like that. But definitely give it a listen to. Just go to your iTunes or Stitcher, any place you can find Smodco products, the Smodco family of radio stuff. Check it out. It's definitely worth listening to.
I think because
I'm done.
Okay.
was that awkward silence.
It's okay.
I was going back to playing Candy Crush.
Well, Jericho spoke about his altercation in 2009 too, in depth, and what happened. That was a very, very funny story in itself. He also talks about his faith and his religion and how he was brought up. So there were several things he covered on that. And yes, the Mick Foley Hollywood Babble on Hollywood about the I Am Santa movie was really good as well.
We can hate to cut you off. Which is available on Netflix right now. I've actually got it in the queue and plan on watching it here shortly.
You need to watch that. That was a very, very good movie.
And from what I've heard, I don't know if this involved one of the Santas that was involved in the making of the film, or if it was just another Santa that Mick knew. But his house, there was a Santa Claus, or a gentleman who portrayed Santa Claus during the Christmas season, whose house burnt down. I think first part of December or last part of November, and Mick Foley actually took to social media to raise money to help rebuild this guy's house by selling, personalized, one-of-a-kind sockos and other stuff.
The guy who changed his name to Santa Claus in that movie, Frank, was actually on the final episode of the Colbert Report. He played Santa.
Awesome.
Yes. I noticed him. I was like, holy crap. I grabbed Angie. I was like, look, it's Frank.
See, that's all. And that's kind of what, Jericho, is one of the main things he talks about, is people say, told him he couldn't be a wrestler. He did it. People said, you'll never be a singer. Well, he's already been doing that before he was doing wrestling. So it's, don't pigeonhole these guys just because you see them every week slap on a pair of panties and roll around with another grown man covered in baby oil. You don't know what these guys, you don't know what they're about. I mean, hell, look at JBL. How many WWE employees has he helped with their financial matters?
Oh God, yes.
Not giving them money, like literally taught them fiscal responsibilities. How much money did they spend?
JBL should be one of those guys that they do it every year for the rookie symposium for the NBA. He should go in there and set these guys down and be like, don't blow your money on this. Like they say, I forget who it was, but when I was watching the one for the NBA, he said, just buy one of everything. There's no reason to go out and buy 2 new cars. No reason to go out and buy 2 new houses. There's no reason to push Joey Mercury. I don't think he said that, but
Bazinga.
God. I'm really skittish about mentioning this one, and we brought it up in context of positive nature as far as it goes with the advent or the NXT takeovers on the network. Knowing now from our sides of the board, not from behind the scenes, but from our sides of the board, I'm going to ask you to play armchair quarterback. What could Vince McMahon have done? What could WWE have done to make the rollout of the network more appealing to everybody? MaBo?
I'm going to say, first of all, this is just this personal opinions. One, we're talking initial rollout, right? Not what I would do now, but you're talking like initial rollout.
Initial.
I would have definitely had. I mean, it already had a decent amount of content available, but I would have had more content available as far as, and still to this day, there's no more. I would have had more of Raw and Nitro. I definitely want to go back and see that downward spiral that last year or two of WCW, where when Ferrara and Russo came in, and then they had Bischoff and Russo, and the New Blood versus the Billionaires Club, and just when it was a poo storm. I want to see that because I'm a sick bastard who loves car wrecks. No offense, Steve Styles, but I that's me. I would have had more content. They said they kept saying they had all this original programming. All they had was Legends House, and big surprise out of there. Pat Patterson's gay. No, and then but where was this revamping of Tough Enough that they kept touting? Where was all this other stuff? I mean, they could have definitely done a whole lot more with the content. They just to have more content available. I mean, it wasn't like they just decided overnight to throw this thing together. They knew that they were going to be coming up with something, so be a little bit more prepared. And the other thing was, I know it was kind of off-putting to a lot of people, but the whole, you pay $9.99 a month, you're locked into an agreement for 6 months, and you pay $9.99 a month, but you couldn't go ahead and pay the total amount right off the bat. I mean, if you're, and I guess that's why maybe they even switched to the sort of the Netflix type where you pay, monthly. But they definitely could have done better with that, because I mean, it says they locked you were locked into an agreement. Hell, son, I violated that first agreement in 2 months. I didn't care. I was like, what are they going to do? What are they, sue me? Are they going to want their money? Okay, so if you want your money, am I still going to get the programming? I wanted to pay up front, right away. I wanted to, when income tax came in, I wanted to drop 60 bones on the network and then not have to worry about, because I had the money at the time, and not have to worry about, them deducting $10 every month.
Right.
So that's what I would have done. I would have definitely had more content available. I mean, because you've got this vast library, so why not? And I would have definitely had a better payment structure going. If you wanted to keep that whole, locked into a 6-month agreement, that's fine, but let me go ahead and pay up front, because granted, there's a better chance of, and this is just me personally speaking, like I said, I had $60 income tax time that I could have dropped on the network and not worried.
Right.
But to sit there and, especially when, everybody knows, I had rotator cuff surgery, not too far into the new year. Well, I had to change financial arrangements, and I might not have had, even, it's sad to say, even have $10 readily available at the time for renewal every month. So, I think a lot more people would have hung around if they could have done that. What? Hold on. The guinea pigs are what? Y'all like Ring of Honor? That's all. They just wanted to say they like Ring of Honor.
Okay, cool.
I've never seen two guinea pigs sit here and literally will sit there and watch Ring of Honor. I think it might be. Like I said, I think it might be. Mark Briscoe. I think they're Mark Briscoe fans. I'm not gonna lie. Whenever Mark Briscoe is on the screen and he starts talking, especially if you watched it, the other night when, he was doing his season's greetings, those two of them were just enthralled by Mark Briscoe. So
that's a
I don't know.
scary thought.
Maybe Mark Briscoe, huh?
Scary thought.
Well, I was just gonna say maybe Mark Briscoe, if he retires, he could go into he could be like the guinea pig whisperer.
Oof. Wick, your thoughts?
First of all, they should have offered it to Canada and to the United Kingdom. The United Kingdom still does not have the network. They should have done what they've done now and offered the little set to actually put it on your TV instead of just watching on your phone or your iPad or your tablet. Original programming right off the bat. More original programming besides the Legends House would have been great. And they should have definitely, without a doubt, had something where you got to see what the talent today is watching. I think if you'd had, like what John Cena was watching on it, I think that could have brought a lot of people in. If you'd got to see what Michael P.S. Hayes was doing and what he was watching, would have been great.
More of a in-depth into their personal lives kind of deal.
Yes, but also what they were watching on the series, on the network themselves, because they support the network as well. I think the Legends of Wrestling Roundtable they have would have been great to have some more of those.
Oh yeah, from the old from the old 24/7.
Yep.
Yes.
Thank you. That was another one. That was
Get
another
out of my playbook, because I was going to go with that one.
I love watching that.
Well, Wick, continue.
So that's what I think they could have done. United Kingdom still not having the network is a huge, huge loss for them.
Of course. See, for me, it's like this. I really wish, and here's the thing about it, and y'all can agree, y'all can disagree if you want to. The Legends Roundtables with Jim Ross at the helm, much better than the ones with Gene Okerlund.
Yeah, I mean, you know me, I'm not a... You guys know I'm not a Jim Ross fan by any stretch of the imagination. But I think Jim Ross did a billion times better job than the bumbling old fool that is Mean Gene Okerlund.
Well, even though Jim Ross has been synonymous with the words voice of WWE or voice of Raw for how long, he always comes across in the Legends of Wrestling Roundtable environment as someone who is more neutral. It's like Ross did everything he could to keep the attention off of him unless he was either moderating a point or answering a direct question by one of the other guys. Okerlund, I love Gene Okerlund to death. Don't get me wrong. But it just seemed like it was more of a WWE product than it was with Jim Ross hosting it. The chemistry was different. The dynamic was different. And it just seemed like a Gene Okerlund promo practically. Gene Okerlund was doing interviews rather than hosting a show. That's where I'm trying to go with that. Am I making sense on that little part?
Yeah, I mean, for someone who, every time they put it on the 24/7, I was salivating, whenever there was a new one. I agree with you. I mean, it's just, and then it was kind of awkward to have Gene hosting, and it's like Jim Ross would be on the panel.
Yeah.
And it was just like, so it's just like, okay. It would be the equivalent of seeing, going to, some kind of function and seeing, the new significant other with your ex.
Right.
And you still have to play it cool. So, I mean, yeah, I totally agree.
Well, I mean, to put the world in, like I said, it just, for me, the way it broke down was the fact that it seemed like Gene Okerlund was doing interviews rather than hosting a roundtable discussion for him. And I kept waiting on, I kept waiting on him to throw it to commercial break. I've yet to watch their show Beyond the Ring. Why? Think about it. What's the name of our show?
The Wicked MaBo show?
There you go. That works. What's the name of the damn station?
Beyondcast?
Whatever. Antagonist. However,
I thought it was Beyond Ringside.
There you go. He finally said it. Thanks for playing.
You said antagonist. I'd never heard of antagonist.
There, yeah. Antagonist is what you can be sometimes.
I thought that was the other A word.
Only off air.
No, we know what happens off air.
On the phone, and on air. I mean, on the phone and off air.
Well, you got it right there, buddy.
Because I've called you an ass off air before, and while you've been on the phone with us. But I agree. Some of the stuff that they had on the 24/7 channel would have been beautiful additions. I understand the fact that they were trying to get away from that to give people the realization that, okay, we can still bring this stuff on board on the network. But I have a feeling it's going to end up doing a lot of the things that Netflix did. Something's going to come off for something to come back on. I think that what Impact had done in that third hour for a while, where it was more backstage interviews and stuff like that, the darker side, the grittier side, the behind-the-scenes side, WWE has yet to perfect that. Everything's got to be a show. Everything's got to be a production. No, it doesn't. It appeals to the fan base more because remember when Impact and TNA were doing that, they were doing the third hour and it was all behind the scenes stuff, backstage interviews and stuff like that. It got critical acclaim. Fans loved it. Vince has yet to learn how to do that. Everything's got to be the Vince McMahon ego production number. Las Vegas pales in comparison to him. I think he's hung out with Trump way too long. But yeah. And I agree with the factor of I wish I could have gone ahead and just paid $60 up front rather than $10 a month because, if I have situations come up with the money and I can't run down and put $10, make sure I've got $10 to work with on my card. I'd rather just spend it. I'd rather give them the money point blank. I agree with that one. And I just, for some reason... And the more that I hear them say, you can still get it for $9.99, I'm so sick of hearing that number.
Yeah, but I still like that song, though. I mean, I don't know. It's just one of those really bad songs, but I just like that song. It just cracks me up.
There you go. But now I'm going to go ahead and shift topics for a second because we're going past the top of the hour. We're going to go and keep the home run round thing going. Matter of fact, I'm going to go ahead and go for last calls. Open forum, open discussion all the way across the board. MaBo, you're up. Last call.
I'm trying to think if I have anything or not. Well, like I said, I did. I have seen video of the ladder match last night between Spiral and Mike Cruz, and it was definitely a heck of a match. From what I've seen, honestly, I'm surprised Mike Cruz wasn't completely lacerated open. Especially coming from someone whose, entire career has been in retail and had to deal with, shady ladders. So I know landing on one, especially when they're bent and are already starting to split and have protrusions. Definitely a good way to get yourself not just cut, but get yourself literally sliced open. And Mike Cruz took a bump on one. I think honestly he was supposed to go flat. He missed and kind of caught the side of it, and his back has the abrasions to show it. So I mean, like I said, the video I saw last night, I thought that match was amazing. Cough button. But I'm trying to think of really anything just stood out. I would like to go ahead and I'd like to put this out to the WWE in advance of next year's pre-Christmas show. So I guess that show would be airing December 20th of next year. Or December 22nd, 23rd, somewhere. Anyway, we don't need to have the Miracle on 34th Street fight yet again, and then have all the rehashed jokes that you get every year with that type of match again. So I'm going to go ahead and put it out there now. 2014 is not over. We still got a couple days. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm putting in my claim ticket now. 11 months and some odd days in advance.
Matter of fact, it'll be December 21st next year.
Okay. Let's not have a Miracle on 34th Street fight. Let's not do that. And if for some reason you're not listening and you choose to do that, let's not do any of the same rehashed jokes. Let's not have the candy cane stripe Singapore cane and, the Singapore candy cane or anything else like that. So if you can work on that, honestly, all that was missing was somebody coming out of a big present. And you know what? We didn't have somebody come out of a big present. We had Ryback come out with a bow on. Just as lame.
Just as lame.
So work on that for me, WWE. I'd appreciate that.
Wicked Nemesis, last call.
For any promoter out there, if you book a talent for a certain price, pay that price. If you can't afford to book them, don't book them. And you shouldn't have to go through two people to get any of your pay. It should be through one person. And if you have to go through two, something shady's going on. And make sure you book in advance. You got to have vision. You got to have a direction when it comes to professional wrestling. You don't book by the seat of your pants, and you damn sure don't cancel a booking 3 or 4 days before an event.
Unless you're canceling the whole damn event.
Unless you're canceling everything. And even then, you better have my money up front. That's why a lot of people ask for their money up front, or at least half of it. And if you can't book a talent for the price that they ask for, you shouldn't book them. Never short anyone on their pay at all. And pay people what they're worth. I hate to tell you guys this. AJ Steele and Clyde Braddock, they aren't worth $40. They're worth a lot more than that. You shouldn't have to go through two people to get your pay. Plain and simple. There you go.
I'm going to take mine in this direction because with the advent of the year that has been 2014, and like I said, I'm taking into consideration the fact that I'll probably not do a Tuesday night show. Subject to change without notice. But for me, it's like this. With what I call the flagship, Beyond Ringside Live, myself, Mark Bowman, Wicked Nemesis, we've had different voices and personalities come on throughout the course of the year. Some have taken a more permanent time. Some have taken a very part-time. But, it's come down to the three of us at the end of the year again. With what has happened with the To Be Determined show and the different names and voices that have come through. And, of course, the Oracle of Ominous, the Wicked Nemesis, has been the mainstay. The advent of the Cause and Effect Thursday Night Radio Throwdown. Robert Cosper, Stuart Couch, Mad Dog Dan Sawyer. WrestleRage Radio with Smart Rage and Stan coming on board this year. The Midnight Black Mass with the Reverend Dan Wilson coming on this year. The continuation of the Saturday Showcase with me, Ryan Adcock, and Robert Cosper. And Cosper's actually had to step away from Saturday Showcase, primarily due to the holiday season and a lot of things going on with family. And Showcase, it's been a weird holiday season for all of us. That's why, 1 minute we're here, the next minute, no, we're not. So, as we're getting ready to wrap up the holiday season for 2014, we're all getting ready to put everything back into high gear. But I want to say from me to everybody who has come on board with the shows this year, thank you for your time. Thank you for your energy. Thank you for your passion for what you're doing. Whether you think that it's inane rambling or dissecting of issues, whether you think that, well, I'm not going to put that part in there. I'll come back to that. But I want to say thank you. The numbers have gotten bigger as the year progressed. Yeah, we've hit some snags as the end of the year has come around us because of the inconsistencies thanks to the holidays, but we'll pick that back up after the first of the year. But to everybody with all 7 shows here on the network, everybody is appreciated. And to everybody who takes the time to come to beyondringside.com, ustream.tv/channel/beyond-ringside-live, or Beyond Ringside on Ustream Mobile, Shoutcast, Winamp, TuneIn Radio, Stitcher, Spreaker, Podomatic, iTunes, iHeartRadio. Whether you listen live, whether you listen on replay, Beyondcast, thank you, Wick. Thank you. I can speak for all of us when I say we do appreciate it. There's a ton of stuff out there nowadays because everybody who thinks they have a clue and has a case of hemorrhoids feels like that they can run a damn radio show or a podcast. We just try to have fun with what we do. Sometimes we talk wrestling. Most of the time we talk wrestling. Sometimes we talk MMA. Sometimes we talk cartoons, comic books, movies, music. Or what other porn site MaBo's gone to this week. Don't say it! That wasn't an invitation.
Well, then don't bring it up.
Okay.
Chatterbait.com.
All right, then. But I do want to say on behalf of all of us, with the Beyond Ringside family of shows, Beyond Ringside Live, WrestleRage Radio, and the Midnight Black Mass on Sundays, Back to Basics Tuesday, To Be Determined Wednesday, Cause and Effect on Thursday, Saturday Showcase on Saturday morning. Thanks for tuning in. We really do appreciate it. MaBo, for the last time in 2014, shameless plugs.
Hell, son, I ain't doing nothing in the beginning of 2014. We should want to do some 2014. No.
Wicked Nemesis, shameless plugs.
Yes, January 3rd at the West Georgia Auto Auction, you will see Steven Styles become the number one contender for the U.S. title that Josh Storm has right now. As of right now, he is their champion. So go out and check that out. Also, there will be the first announcement for this year's class for UIW's Hall of Fame. And I know who it's going to be, but I'm not going to run it. You need to come out and see it, and everybody will be pleasantly surprised. I promise you that. All the way up until May, Sevenfold Saints, pretty much booked up. So if you missed your opportunity, give us more money, and we'll definitely show up to your event. Eddie?
BeyondRingside.com, the home for all things on the Beyond Ringside Radio Network. I do try to keep things updated, I swear, but sometimes real life gets in the way. And thank you for understanding. At Beyond Ringside on Twitter, Facebook.com/Beyond Ringside Live. For me personally, at Fast Eddie Layne on Twitter and Instagram, that's LAYNE. And of course, FastEddieLayne.com. I'm working to update my own personal site as well. Facebook.com/Fast Eddie Layne over on Facebook. And yes, I'm still on MySpace and Instagram and Google Plus and LinkedIn. Good God. I am way too visible. And as of the first segment, I did get the confirmation I am on the NSA watch list. Thank you. I appreciate that. Nice job, guys. To all of the stars, to all of the celebrities who have taken the time to come on Beyond Ringside this year, thank you so much. We've had a lot of fun. Especially, I think I can speak for Mark and Wick when I say, especially Gavin Loudspeaker. And I figured MaBo would jump in. You mean Loud and Noxious? Both of them. No, but we've had a lot of great guests on this year, and thank you all. And we're in the process of getting things lined up for early 2014 as well. Keep your eyes open on .com. Going to have everything in place, and we hope you will come along for the ride. Folks, real quick, I'm going to go ahead and run it down. WrestleRage Radio with Mark Rage and Stan is taking the night off. We are going to be going directly to the brand new edition of the Midnight Black Mass with the good Reverend Dan Wilson. It will be part 2 of the interview that he hosted with Bill Behrens. Looking forward to that one as well. There we go. I'm actually loading things up as we speak because I'm going to go ahead and turn it back over to the network as soon as we wrap up here in studio. From that vantage point, like I said, watch.com. We'll keep everybody posted on when everything's coming back into play full-time here on Beyond Ringside Sports Radio. Let's take it home. For Mark MaBo Bowman.
Let's go viral. That was for Jennifer. Only Jennifer will get that. So make sure Angie Wick, make sure she hears that. Let's go viral.
And also make sure she hears what MaBo said during the break.
Or not, and Eddie can shut his mouth.
If they weren't there, there's no way they could hear.
Yeah, but
sometimes it's best to play along, Nimrod.
Yeah, you probably got it recorded.
Would I do something like that?
Yes.
As long as you know. For the Oracle of Ominous, the Wicked Nemesis.
Make sure you check out and support local independent wrestling because it is the backbone and the very soul of professional wrestling and sports entertainment to a certain degree. Thank you all that listened to the To Be Determined show. Let me try that again. To the To Be Determined show for 2015. It was a hell of a year. Oh, 2014, yeah.
2014.
Let me try that one more time.
Okay.
Thank you to everyone that's going to listen in 2015. 14. And everyone that has listened in 2014.
Okay.
Is that better? That's
Yeah,
better.
I think so. I think we found it.
See, I can do a promo in one take live in the audience. Get here behind a laptop for a radio show and completely destroy the human language. 62 days sober will do that to you.
I'm lucky to go for 62 minutes sober. Folks, thanks for hanging with us. We hope you've enjoyed the ride. And guess what? It keeps getting better. I am the Magic City Motor Mouth Fast Eddie Layne. Until we meet again. Adios, das vidania, hasta luego, auf Wiedersehen, ciao, sayonara, adieu, arrivederci, farewell, abisinia, au revoir. One more time, and I'm going to say it, yes, because I can. Merry freaking Christmas. And aloha means bye-bye. Join us right here next time as we all go beyond ringside. Bye for now.